Alright guys, yeah.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. Had to show some of the local homies there that were just staying late after one of the tournaments, and we were just, practicing a couple of OP05 lists as well as some OP04.5 stuff. And as you can see, we got the purple Luffy and the Sakazuki. This time I am piloting the purple Luffy, and my man Tommy over here is running the Sakazuki list. Both of which are my decks that I built, so I will be able to link down both of the deck lists in the description below. But I love both of these. I think both decks are just so fun, and there's so many things to be figured out between each deck. I personally am, working on Sakazuki the most, but I'm enjoying figuring out purple Luffy as well, just because at the end of OP04 I've started getting into some purple decks and was having a blast with some of the mechanics of how that works. And yeah, I don't know, it's just been super fun overall. And now I do swing first to see if I can get Law to potentially catch him off if he takes that first life, using the leader ability to get to 4. He doesn't do so though, and now we will see a greater eruption into a Hound Blaze to bring up brand new by 3k. And now we'll probably just see either a 6k and a 6k or a 7k and a 5k. So now 5k swing coming at us from lead. I'm deciding what card I want to pitch, just because I don't believe I had one of the 4-cost vanillas at this time. Maybe I did, but I don't think that I did. I could be wrong, yeah. It's looking like I'm leaning towards using Khalifa, but I actually decided to go with the Uses Captain Kid. We had another one in hand, so I was feeling alright about it. Brand new is not something I like to leave on board too much, simply because of stuff like Hound Blaze. It forces his leader to attack sometimes and then use the Hound Blaze without actually getting any value out of it. Well, at least not the value of the 3k bonus. So I want brand new off the board, and then I can start building my own board and get him to, get some of those life cards down and pitch some cards from hand. But with him being at 6 Dawn, we are going to see a 7k swing, lowering Kid by 1, bringing him down to 4. I will use the Khalifa though, and I tried to put as many of the dice as possible onto the field, just so that everybody knows what the minus effects are for certain cards, like what the costs are, because I know when watching these videos it's not always clear. And luckily we do have a poly in hand at the moment, and so I'm just going to go ahead and swing 6 with Uses Captain Kid, getting a Tashigi out of hand. And I believe... Oh no, I didn't misplay this time. Okay. I tend to misplay Poly a lot, but I KO the Kuzan there, and then I get the active Dawn. A lot of times, more often than not, I will actually just swing with lead and then play Poly and then realize that I gain an active Dawn and forget about it. So I was like, oh man, I could have swung 7 instead of 6. But yeah, we get the Kuzan off the board. I just don't want him to have like the easy minus effects here. He does drop the Rob Lucci though, using Hina to bring down Poly by 1, or bring down Poly by 4 to 1. Does bottom deck the Poly, and is also just going to KO the Kid as well. Swinging heavy, not much we can do there, but I am not going to let him build too much of a board and keep too much of a hand here. I'm just going to keep, chipping at it, and also I want to get 9-cost Kaido down if possible, but it looks as though we are just going to play Kid one more time. I'll play Magellan to get that Dawn back and just get 6 to life. He does end up taking this, and we don't have the 9-cost Kaido in hand. Would have been really nice to get that down on curve right here, because ooh, it's a card to deal with as Sakazuki. I'm like, oh man, if I don't see Ice Age or the Rebecca Hina combo, it can be really, really annoying. And I don't believe that he has that in hand, at least from what we've seen. Looks like we're going to see a pitch on the Borsalino, though, as well as potentially... Was it brand new that he was looking at? And the other Sabo. So now with 5 Dawn left, he's going to use that leader ability, though. Get the Hina into the trash. That sets up the Rebecca combo for the future. He's got 5 Dawn, or 4 Dawn to work with, excuse me. 4 Dawn to work with. We could just see Rebecca being played right here, but I don't think he would, considering he had already used Sabo. And now he's just going to bring down Uses Captain Kid to a 2 cost. I'm debating on whether I want to let this go or not. Like, if I want to block with this, he could be bluffing the Hound Blaze, or he could have it. I'm like, 9 times out of 10, he's got it. So I feel like I should block here, but that's the tough part of kind of like the mind games that Sakazuki can have. Like, he does get me within that position, but I feel like I should have known, because why would he play Suru otherwise? You know what I mean? There would be no point of him playing Suru otherwise, so I should have just let the card go rather than losing a 1k counter out of hand. And that's just inexperience right there, you know, when it came to this match, as well as just this, you know, particular timing of how much I had played the deck beforehand. Playing Suru is pretty much like the automatic tell. I think the order maybe would have been to swing lead first, and then I would have countered out with Scratchman and then play Suru into Houndblaze. But yeah, playing the Suru just kind of gave it away, and I let it slide, though. I totally let it slide. But that's on me. You gotta live and you gotta learn. And you know, this being about a week ago was definitely like some of the first games I had played of OP05. Had tried out some on the sim, but really hadn't figured it out and fleshed it out yet. And now I will get down 7 cost Kid, though. Doing the Dawn -1 to bring leader up to 6. I think I'll just go 8 into the Sabo. He's deciding on whether he wants to defend it or not. He does let it go, so that's nice for me, knowing that I have 2 Sabos in the trash, because that card can be, you know, just absolutely a nuisance in this matchup sometimes. It can stop me using Poly, it can stop me using the 9 cost Kaido. It really is a card that, you know, they can also play offensively with, and we'll see a rest of 3 on Tashigi. He's deciding whether he wants to do that, though. Brings the Borsalino down, or excuse me, brings the Tashigi down to get Uses Captain Kid off the board using Borsalino effect. Had to get the extra -1 off the leader swing, but since mine was at a 6k leader, it didn't really affect me too much. But now I know that my opponent has no defense, no blockers to get out of this. 2 cards in hand. I feel like I can definitely get them within a position that I'll be able to go for game. I don't want to leave Tashigi on board, though, which is the tough part, because now I'm trying to decide whether I should be going for life or Tashigi. I decided to go for the Tashigi here just because I don't want him to have a lot of the minus effects on some of the cards I'm about to play. But I think all in all, leaving the Tashigi up wouldn't have been like the worst thing ever. I probably just could have got a lot of life here. Got him down to 0. But I guess my concern is that if he blockers up pretty heavy, that's when it can get kind of scary. But we do see a 6k getting countered out by Tashigi here. And I'll go 4 for Scratchman Apu and 5 for the Uses Captain Kid, and just passing it over. So he's got 3 cards that he's got to deal with. He's definitely got to get some blockers down as well. Rebecca's going to come down, probably getting Hina here. But did he draw into removal is really the question. Did he draw into removal? And if I'm being honest, I think it would be really hard to do so. So I think he's just going to hard play that Sabo, just kind of hope for the best. So Uses Captain Kid is brought down to a 4k. We've got 3 cards in hand. I could just take the life here, but I know that I have the Borsalino swing coming as well, and that does worry me slightly. I'm like, okay, do I want to just let him have the Uses Captain Kid? I will just go 2k with Franosuke, and now we'll see 8 with Borsalino, I believe, yeah, going into life. Leaving the Magellan up for the swing. which I'm not too upset by. And I think the Lucci and Rebecca does get trashed here. Yeah, Lucci just isn't the best in this matchup if you don't have, the exact combo. It's you're basically just hard playing it for 4 if you want to get it on board. It's more than likely not going to kill anything other than one character. And now a 5k swing into life. He does take this first one, I believe, picking up another Lucci or another Kuzan, something like that. So without the counter power, we're looking all right. I will go a 8k swing at the life, though. Does block with Rebecca here. And I'm also going to go 9k with Scratch Mana Poo. See if we can get the Sabo block or not. He does choose to take this one. And I'll just play Law and pass it over with 1 active. Probably just baiting Blast Breath. I don't believe we had Blast Breath in hand, but our hand is cracked. We've got 3 2k counters. So for him to get through 2 blockers as well as 3 2k counters is looking pretty rough. We definitely have the defense necessary. Now we'll see Uses Captain Kid does get brought down to a 3k. He is considering whether he's like able to get some card on board that can go for the removal. He has the Borsalino, but that's just not going to help him in this situation, because he definitely needs to have a blocker for a lot of the swings. So he's got to get a bunch of attacks through on the board and hope that I just let them go. Afterwards, blocker up and pray that you have enough to get out of it. But we have put him in a spot that it is definitely kind of hard to deal with right here. I feel like Houndblaze is something that I've learned in this matchup. Is I try, at least as Sakazuki, to use that Houndblaze once they have 2 characters on the board, because usually they can play 1 character and then they'll swing with the other. So I'll be able to get that like that combo he did using Houndblaze on the Eustace Captain Kid and then swinging very big into what did I have rested at that time? I think it was, I don't remember. I think it was Polly. Yeah, or getting rid of the Polly and then swinging into the Eustace Captain Kid. Just like stuff like that in these stages of the game are just so nice. And so like I got pretty fortunate being able to see a lot of the low end cards early enough and in the right stages of the game that I could flood the board. That makes this all the more difficult to deal with. He will swing 8k. I believe it was into Scratch Mana Poo. I do just block with Law here. And now we'll see 5k into life, bringing Kid down to 2. I don't know why I counter here. I should, in my opinion, I should just block with the Uses Captain Kid, knowing that it could be just removed. But I guess I was weary about whether he would go for game with Hina or Sabo, and I'm thinking to myself, like, there is the potential that he has the ability to get through this with Houndblaze, but he didn't have it. And yeah, he was going to swing with Sabo if I took the life and had Houndblaze, but I guess that's why we tried to save the Uses Captain Kid, just in case, like, he happened to have quite a bit of them. But uses Rebecca, picks up a Borsalino. Now we're going to have 3 blockers that we're going to have to get through. It's quite a lot, honestly, but we do have 4 swings with him having 2 cards in hand. It's still not clear whether we can, pull out the dub here. I just have to swing, like, perfectly. And I know that the following turn, I am dead. Like, 100% dead. So I'm just kind of doing the math in my head. I believe that I drew into a 9-cost Kaido here, and I obviously don't think it would have been super relevant because I can only kill Rebecca, and then with everything else on board, he's still got 2 blocks and 3 cards in hand. So I just kind of have to swing with everything on board, and I think we'll end up having, what, 8k, 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 9k? So, yeah, 3 8s and 1 9. So I'll go 8. We see the Rebecca block. I will go 8 with Scratch Mana Poo. We do see a Borsalino block. And I think about this for a second, and I'm like, you know what? You know what? Let me go 8 with lead first, and then I'll go 9 with Eustace Captain Kidd. And we do barely get it. He had just enough to get to 8K right there. Solid first match, but it definitely came down to being a little close. Purple Luffy has its moments to shine, but it's definitely not a deck that I have completely figured out yet. Still trying to get the, you know, the hands, like, and the practice in there just to, I don't know, battle out some of the nitty-gritty details of, you know, decision making with that list. But going into game 2, still swapping it, or excuse me, still keeping it the same, not swapping it up. I'm playing Purple Luffy. He's got Sakazuki again, and I believe that this matchup ended up being very one-sided, if I remember correctly. I think I ended up getting whooped. Now, I could be wrong, but I just, I remember there was, I think we played like 3 matches in total or something like that, and I do remember one match just getting absolutely whooped. And I'm not sure if it was more to do with my hand per se, or if it was to do with how I played. Because I have noticed that there are just times with the Luffy list that, as much as you want to use your leader ability to ramp, you have absolutely nothing to ramp to, and you're just like praying that you see something out of either the top of the deck or the top of life. But it looks as though we're starting off going second this time around. He's got first, is going to get to that 3 Dawn, and we'll just see a 5k to life. I decide to take this. I absolutely hate it. I never really want to take that first life. And now I'll just ramp for a 5k, a 5 cost character here. I am thinking of whether he has 7 or not, but does not, and I'll just put down the Magellan, doing a Dawn -1, getting him back on the even curve, which is not bad for him. Sakazuki kind of thrives on both even and odds. It's really not that huge of a deal for the deck, especially against like red purple Luffy. I've found that going first doesn't feel as bad as I thought it would, simply because you do have like 1 Dawn extra to work with each turn to swing for 6. And because the vast majority of time you're playing like these even cost plays, and I just kind of like it the way that it works out. But he is going to bring down Magellan and use the Hound Blaze here to get a 7k swing with Tashigi. And this is where I was like, oof, we are not looking good. We are not looking good. I should have 100% countered out of that first life, but I decided not to. And so if the question needs to be asked of whether it was my play that affected the L that we took on this second match, it definitely was. And I'll go ahead and play Queen, though, using the Dawn -1 effect to try and draw into a little something something. You know, we got plenty of cards in hand, but not all of the cards that I was looking for in the moment. And I decided to trash a Magellan, and I'll just go ahead and pass it over. I think that brought us down to 5 Dawn, so the following turn we could be at 7 to play Eustace Captain Kidd. It might get some momentum going for us, but it's definitely just getting there now at this point, because I know that I'm going to have a leader swing coming in here. Definitely going to have to counter out of it. Trashes the Rebecca and the brand new, I think picked up a Suru. I actually missed it, what it was. But 4 Dawn to work with still. Could see Rebecca potentially, more than likely, some form of removal for Queen, or just like a Borsalino or Kuzan. But no, nay, 9k swing at the life. I love it. After that first match, he was like, you know what? I just got to be aggressive. Get these life out of your hand. I decide to rest the Queen and counter out with 2 Franoskes going up to 10. It sucks to drop that many 2Ks, but I felt as though I wanted to keep my Queen alive for some form of aggression, and I also wanted to have, you know, both of my life left if possible. And now 7 cost Kid is looking very tempting. I'm thinking about that's probably going to be my play here, but I also have a queen, which is an option to get a little defensive, get some more cards in hand, cycle some stuff out. But I think more than likely I'm thinking of, oh, okay, so we're going to go Law, and I tell him to shuffle it up, because I did ask how many cards he had in hand. I end up getting a Becca and a Manchery. I'm all right with that, but it didn't get any of the removal that we might have been looking for. Now I've got 3 Dawn to play with. I am just going to attach 1 to Queen and go 7 to life. I end up getting 1 off of him, but he gets a Greater Eruption. Now I got to decide to trash a card. I have a lot of counter power in hand as well as blockers, so unfortunately I think I'm just going to have to pitch the kid, and then I'm going to go 7 to life one more time. Get 2 cards out of hand, or just get him to take this. I think he's fine to take it here, if I'm being honest. He can just go down to 1 life, and he does get a Hound Blaze there, which is really unfortunate for me. I'm like, uh-oh. Now I've got to deal with that removal for like Greater Eruption or Ice Age. There it is. And using the Hound Blaze. Oh, but Lucci. So Hina into Lucci. Taking care of both of them. Feels bad, man. And then, yeah, Lucci's got to return 3. So he's going to bring back all the events to the bottom of the deck. And then we'll just see a 5k swing at life. I pitch a 1k, but definitely does not feel good. He's built this board up, and not having used his Captain Kidd, you know, obviously last turn in hindsight, it was great that we ended up pitching it, because had we played it, that Ice Age into the Hound Blaze he got off life would have been devastating. And then he would have KO'd the Queen regardless as well. And yeah, it would have hurt. It would have hurt the feelings. Yeah, not even having to use Hound Blaze. Could have still used the same combo. But I'll just go ahead and play Scratch Mana Poo as well as Law, trying to build the board back up one more time. I don't know if... I don't hate it, putting down 2, because I feel like going wide in this matchup is really... It's really useful for how much removal Sakazuki has. But I would have liked to get that last life off of him. And now we're going to see a 7k swing coming into life right here. I know that he's still got plenty of Dawn to work with and 3 other swings as well. So I'm not happy with the position at the moment. Now we're going to see another 7k swing with Rob Lucci. I know that if I take this, he's just going to jam me, and I'm going to have to drop my entire hand anyways. So I'll just go ahead and counter now. And we'll see a 5k with Hina. It kind of sucks, because I know that I'm like, I can either take the gamble on getting a counter card, and then he jams me, and then I could potentially go for game, but he just decides to go 5. And it's super smart, because it you know, it forces me to still take the life, and he also gets the Sabo down, you know, stopping me from going for game. Even if I was able to draw into 9-cost Kaido, which I actually think I was. I think I finally drew into 9-cost Kaido, like, from the top deck right here. And we'll see a 6k swing get countered out by Suru, which just makes it game right there. And then another 6k countered out by Tashigi. And I was like, yeah, I could play Kaido, but I can't KO the Sabo anyways. I was like, I still get the rush, but it just doesn't do me any good. And I take the L on that second match. But super solid matches, well played by Tommy. And yeah, a lot of fun overall. But if you guys want to let me know what your thoughts are, I always appreciate it and love to hear them. And other than that, I will catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace.